to another edition of the Woods Finest Podcast. Let's let the people know how we're feeling. To my right, we'll start with this gentleman that we know very well, Mr. Cody Henderson. How you feeling?
Just relaxing, having a good day. Ready to enjoy this podcast with my mates here.
All right. That's what I like to hear. And to my far left, Ramon, let the people know how you feeling.
My people, Miss John, ready to get down to some real business today.
And as you might have noticed already, we have critically acclaimed writer. Please check out Grief in His Eyes, Volume 1 and 2. Featured my man, Coach Ray, who is a mentor, author, father, husband, and just a great dude. One of my favorite people in the whole world. So we're going to get down with him today. How you feeling?
I feel good. That was a banging intro.
I only give it to the best. So you know, you one of the best. You out there, you're in the communities. You're reaching out to these kids every day. You're coaching and in the classrooms and instilling the right values. And I just want to make sure that we give the flowers to the people who deserve them.
So much appreciated.
And on this edition, and this is though we're glad we brought you along. We're talking about the importance of the elders. People in our communities when we were growing up, outside of our immediate household,
right,
who had an impact on us, who poured into us, who helped us become the men that we are today. So having said that, growing up, who are the people outside of your immediate household that you look up to, who did things that helped you become the man you are today? I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Cody. What you got?
As usual, I go first.
Yes, always.
I would say basically, I think I said this before in another episode, it was really the fathers of my friends, your dad, Ramon's dad, Ray's dad, Kevin's mom. Yep. It was all the people in our community because, in our community, we were really the only black people in Seven Woods.
Absolutely.
At the time we lived there. So we were really, it was tight. We were tight, and they always made sure that we knew who we were, but we also made sure that people respected us in the neighborhood and treat us differently because we were the black kids in the neighborhood.
That's right.
Oh, also don't let me forget Grant.
Yes,
sir.
Grant.
Yes. Grant.
Yes. We're gonna jump to you, Coase. Who were those people for you when you were growing up? Who helped pour into you?
Most importantly, and I'm sure everybody who has seen my Facebook or whatever, is my Uncle Glenn is by far, outside of my household, is the number one intricate part of why I am who I am today, outside of God. I mean,
absolutely,
point blank, period. But growing up, it was him. I mean, he was just always there, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. From the time he used to pick me and my brothers, my cousins up, and we would just go, what y'all doing today? Nothing. Cool. We going to the beach. We gonna go to the park. We gonna go work out. We gonna go hoop. And sometimes he'll pick us up and be like, we gonna cut this grass. You know what I'm saying? So it was that type of his ability to say no. I'm not gonna let y'all have nothing to do.
Yeah.
I got into coaching because of him. I got into mentoring because of him. And other than him, be honest, I'd say your older brother, Quince, was a very intricate part of me growing up. I played basketball for him, and he was always my ride to practice when my dad couldn't do it. And, and just the conversations in the car on the way to practice, all those things where people kind of miss. It's not the fun stuff that people love to do, he took him out for pizza, that's great. It's like, it's the in-between.
Yeah.
It's all those in-between times with the conversations, the hard conversations, and the real ones that, those people have the most impact.
Absolutely. Ramon, what you got?
So as a kid, I would say a couple of guys from church, two different churches I was in. When I was a little younger, my man Darian, he was a musician for our youth choir. He was also a barber right there in Norfolk. And I don't know, just talk to him about anything. He didn't, obviously religion was important, but he didn't beat you over the head with it. So you felt comfortable going to him and saying, hey, this is what's going on. Talked about literally anything, and there was no judgment in it. And then Pastor Mark, who I'm still close to today, he was a youth pastor over at Calvary Revival, and he would, he literally I could call him anytime.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, yo, let's go to IHOP and let's just sit down and chop it up. You know what I'm saying? And because he knew if I called him, it had to be something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I was able to depend on him then. Like I said, I can still depend on him now. I can call him right now and he'd be like, well, come on over. You know what I'm saying? So I would say those are two of the bigger people that had an influence on me when I was before college anyway.
Okay. All right.
That's the Marcus OG.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, listen.
I was surprised when I walked into that class that day and you was in there. I was like, I didn't even know you knew Pastor.
Yeah, I grew up. He was my youth pastor growing up. Like I don't, you know, like
Small
for real,
world.
very small world.
It's funny how small the world is when you're doing something positive and
Yeah.
people you run
Good
into
people.
who are trying to do something
Yeah.
positive. And I ran into Pastor Mark because he was working at my children's elementary school back in the day. And he led the
Yeah.
Watchdog program, which gets dads out in the classrooms, and just a fantastic program that he led over there at Hickory Elementary. So for me, when I was thinking about this question, it was not even apparent to me until after I wrote down my answers that a lot of the people who poured into me, who did all of the things that we've been talking about, were educators. So I want to give a big shout out to the Reed family. Both of them, husband and wife team, were excellent. Miss Reed used to take us out during the summer when school was out, and we used to frequent a lot of locations. We learned a lot with her. Her husband as well was just a good influence on us as young men, and we modeled our behavior after all of these men in the community. The Sy family, again, another educator. Miss Sy was always available to us and would give us that advice whether we wanted it or not.
To this day.
Yes.
To this day, she
She said,
still
let me
you
tell
know.
you something. I said, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, that means you sit down and listen.
Right.
Right.
You ain't got no choice.
That's right.
Nothing else to say.
Absolutely. And I want to give one more big shout out, but after the Sy family, and that's to the Jeanette family. Mr. Jeanette was really groundbreaking. I don't know.
Oh, you remember them Sundays that they have?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to
Yeah,
get to.
yeah.
So we had a black culture club, as you will, when we were teenagers. And he taught us about black inventors, black thinkers, educators.
Black excellence.
Black excellence. We learned the National Black Anthem through them. We did so many things, and I just want to give him a big shout out. I hope we need to really catch him and thank him for all
and
those
not to
great
mention,
things.
he did it in his house.
In his house.
With nobody helping him.
Right.
Every Sunday, he made sure we was over there.
And I don't even know if he realized the impact
Yeah,
he
he
had on
probably does.
the rest of us. So we probably need to get in contact with him and thank him for that.
Yeah.
So.
That's actually dope. Man.
That is-
If he actually took time to say, "Hey, come to my house,"
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Yep.
that's something that's a lost art.
Absolutely.
Definitely don't have that.
So let's talk about what impact these can't even get my words out. These individuals had on us. What makes them different from what we see today with the adults we come into contact, the parents we come into contact? I'm gonna start with you, Coach.
I'm about to say, I'm sure you got 100 stories.
Yes.
Listen, look, and I'm gonna let God lead me on this one, so I don't jump off and go in my personal thoughts. But
Soapbox material.
so yeah, I am not doing the soapbox
Yes.
thing, but I can be very honest. The difference is that back then the community feel was more important than the individualistic mindset, because as a community we understood all these kids need to be successful. It was an understanding, whether it was your mom or his mom, his dad, you knew that any kid that came across your lawn or that knew your kids had an opportunity to be something special, and they acted on it.
Yeah.
The difference now is nobody care,
They don't
and they don't want to take the time. But these be the same people who you see on social media and be like, somebody need to do something for these kids. These are the kids that's in your neighborhood. Like, I don't help me understand. Oh, these kids killing each other. Well, you know who they're getting the guns from, and you ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
And so you're not protecting the kids. And I'll say this, that it was a mindset of success that the community had, in the black community, that these kids aren't gonna fall to the streets. Now it just doesn't, people just don't say nothing to my kid.
Oh yeah, it's all about self. There's no community.
You don't correct my kid, but your kid might need it. Your kid might need to correct, even to the point now where if a teacher say something to your kid, they pull him up to the building.
I was about to say,
yeah.
I love it when I hear people say, "Why aren't they teaching this in school? Why aren't you teaching
Like
it
at home.
I say, yeah, it's
Why
not
are
our
you not-
responsibility.
yeah.
You your kid first teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you are unwilling to teach your kid those basic things that they need, you can't get mad when the people that's doing a job aren't taking time to do it.
And 9 times out of 10, the kid don't respect you.
Right.
Right?
And they
'Cause
don't.
when the parents show up, they look at the parent like, why aren't you doing something? They told the parent half crazy.
Listen,
Funny.
I'm here to tell you from experience. I've seen it. I've seen
Yeah.
kids hang the phone up on their parents.
Yeah.
I've seen kids be like, yo, why you talking to me like that? In the meeting. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at the parent like, but you got nerve to send me a nasty
I
email?
was like, who's the parent here? Yeah, who's in charge?
I go right to the kid. I understand. You come with me. That's
Yeah, because apparently you the one that's running the show.
you mentioned I'll work with you because you can't. This ain't listening
Yeah,
to me.
this
So
ain't
I'm gonna
working.
get you right on my
Yep,
own
That's it.
because your parents can't handle the job.
Yeah, but that's what it is.
Mhm.
That's what it is. The parents, majority of parents, don't check their kids no more. They all want to defend their kid. They won't be their kid's friend. I tell my kids all the time, I am not your buddy. Do not call me bro.
Now, listen,
Bruh.
that
Or
would
any
got,
of
that
that
would got
stuff.
your head caved in.
Yeah,
growing up.
yeah.
Bro,
Yeah, who else your bro?
what's up, bro?
What's up with dudes calling girls bro?
What's up with girls calling dudes, bro?
I don't understand that at all.
I mean, it's yeah. I just don't get it.
That's off topic.
Sorry, Grip, we
That's,
off on
that's
tangent.
completely off topic. But
But he threw that softball up at you.
Yeah.
nah, I'm not that shit at all. Nah, I mean y'all hit on most of the things that I was thinking, but I mean, to me these days, I guess the biggest difference, like y'all kind of mentioned, is you can't tell kids nothing. They literally are being raised in a society that tells them if you think it's right, that's your truth.
Yeah.
And because, whether it's the truth or not, it's your truth. And because it's your truth, live it.
Oh,
Do it exactly the way you want to do it, because can't nobody tell you how to do you. And so, and they get that reinforced.
They don't
By
understand
their
that comes
friends,
with limits.
with the
I definitely
internet,
want to chime in
with
on
everything.
that though, because what it is they're being taught that their opinion matters about things it shouldn't matter about. When I say clean your room, that's not a conversation.
No, it's not.
When I say clean up after yourself, that's not a conversation. But they're being taught that
You have an
it
opinion.
is a conversation. They should take the time to listen to what you're saying, but you're not at my house having to listen to it. And that's part of the problem. They teach kids now that things that they really shouldn't have an opinion about, they should have an opinion.
Yes.
And it's crazy because it's so, like you said, something simple as clean your room. That's not a conversation because your room is dirty. The expectation is to keep your room clean.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? What do you mean you don't feel like it? That's great. I don't feel like getting up going to work every day.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this room that you just dirtied up is a result of me going to work.
You know, I'd rather go on vacation than pay this light bill.
I know that's
But I don't have that option.
I know that's
You know what I'm
true.
saying? I'd rather go buy me a new TV than put food in the house, but you want to eat.
Yeah.
Where does it come from that you think that you don't have to be contained by this set of rules that you want me to be contained by?
Now, I will play devil's advocate to a degree on that. I
Okay.
say this. There are certain instances where a kid, and within reason, should be able to say, well, what are we doing this for? And I'm not talking about the cleaning the room thing.
Yeah.
There are certain things that as parents, and Griff and I have talked about this before, where as parents, we've been like, because I said so.
Oh, wait.
And great,
Yeah.
you paying the bill, I understand it, but what is the overall purpose other than you said so? What's the purpose behind this? And I think there are a lot with this generation. A lot of them are very inquisitive about things. They don't. Because I said so. Don't really resonate. It resonates, but they like it's got to be something more than that.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation. It was after the Super Bowl, and we were talking about sometimes it is okay to explain to them the reason and why. Because then they have clarity. But that's why I say it's a certain amount of things that you do that with.
No, I agree.
Something like cleaning your room. No, clean your room. Take the trash out. Take the trash out.
Yeah, it's not
But when it comes to like, no, you can't go to this party. And it's like, well, why can't I go? Okay, these are the reasons why I don't feel comfortable with you going. Yeah, if I say because I said so, then they like,
That's not good
that's
enough.
not good enough. But oh no, because the people that you going in, you don't know who's coming. They parents ain't gonna be home. There's a safety issue. So now they like, oh okay.
Yeah, oh, no, his uncle's gonna be there.
Well, let me meet his uncle.
Yeah, and
Because that's what our parents used to do.
Yeah, and then that's the
Absolutely.
issue.
You hung out with somebody, okay, well I need to meet their parents. I need to meet their
Yo,
peoples.
I can't drop my daughter off. I can't come to your dorm.
Yeah.
She had this little girl come over to my house like 3 or 4 times. Her mom literally pulled up, did not get out of the car. She got out the car, she pulled off. She didn't even watch her walk up to the door.
I'm saying parents were active in the lives of their kid, and I think that's what's missing is being active in every scenario of your kid's life, not just the ones that you think gonna make you some money. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if they playing ball, they as active as all get out, but the energy ain't the same in the classroom.
Sports parents are the worst.
Listen,
I'm not gonna get off on that. I'm not gonna.
We're not gonna get off on that. I'm one now.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, I'm one of those now. With my daughter just getting into soccer, I ain't gonna front. It was low key hard for me to step back and be like,
"Oh yeah, because you a coach."
Yeah, like I had to say. We're gonna move on from that.
Yeah, the one thing I'm just gonna add to it, and I think you guys covered everything really, really well. Our parents, the generation our parents grew up in, and how we were raised, they did not run from the challenge of raising their children.
No,
they weren't afraid to go out and address you. I think that's a problem now. I think
it is.
A lot of us are. I've seen parents, like you said, intimidated about approaching their own kid.
But I mean, it goes back to what he was saying earlier. They just don't want to. They don't want to be involved in it because a lot of times you get parents that when you say something to them, instead of them saying, "Okay, well, let me look at that. My kid didn't do that.
Right.
Don't come over here telling me what my kid did."
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want to hear it.
our parents knew.
Yeah. Oh.
Teacher said something, they was like, "Yeah, he did it."
Yeah.
I know.
Because
Because you're supposed to know your kid.
they knew us.
Yeah, you're supposed to know your
But
kid.
again, so here's a question I pose on top of that: is it is an area of parents refusing to actually get to know their kids? And it's not all, because I think sometimes when you generalize things, people get in their feelings, and it's not everybody, but there is a demographic of parents that refuse to get to know their kids because it takes effort. You chose to be a parent. The kid didn't choose to be here. You chose so you got to accept that role and everything that comes with it. You should know your kids so that when they do something, you're not like, oh, that maybe be my kid. Because kids, we all did it. We knew how to pull the wool of our parents' eyes to a degree, but most of the stuff, they were 2 steps ahead. So if knowing your kid puts you 2 steps ahead, like, you know what? I feel like you're going to do some dumb stuff. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm cutting that off before you get there. So when a teacher or somebody calls them, like, I already know, I'm on my way.
Yep.
Just by what they said that was done, you know whether your kid did it or not.
And also because of that network, because my dad knew your dad and knows your family.
Correct.
Somebody else knows about the dirt you've been doing.
Oh yeah.
Guess what? It took no problem. Hey,
No problem. You know what?
guess what? I'm calling your dad right now.
I'm calling over to the Griffin house right now.
Please, no.
So
Because
what
that
you
was
think
the
your
worst
biggest
thing for your parents to actually find out
Absolutely.
that you did something.
was-
Oh, yeah, but
that was
no-
like the
no
worst thing
problem.
From someone else.
But these days, they're not scared at all.
No.
Because guess what? The system in itself has taught you don't discipline your kid. Don't yell at your kid. Don't put your hands on your kid. Don't do. And they know this. Kids are smart. They've been educated on the fact that you can't tell me to do nothing.
Man, we were scared to even mention
Listen, come on.
calling child protective
my mama would have
services.
handed me the phone.
Look,
Listen,
hey, I'm dialing.
Listen,
My dad
my
dialed
mama
the number
would
one
hand me
time.
the phone.
And said, look,
On God.
call him. You won't come back here again.
And it, you know what's crazy though? We said it like discipline. People look at like the discipline part like it's a horrible thing. Like,
No, it's not.
like no, it's setting a precedence. Ephesians 6:4 even tells you should bring your kids up in the knowledge and discipline of God. So if that discipline comes with at that certain point where you have to strike your kid early enough, they're gonna be like, I know what that felt like before. I ain't even about to do. You know what I'm saying? Because even, and I hate to get off on a religious tangent, but God is a father. God disciplines us.
Yep.
When we do something stupid,
Oh,
it might not come at the moment you did it. You're like, I got away free. At some point, he gonna spank you. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. So why are we not applying these principles to our own children? Like, you did something wrong, you deserve to be disciplined. It doesn't always mean putting your hands on them,
Nah.
but it does mean setting a precedence.
Yeah.
My daughter is 9. My son is 10. I don't have to spank them because I set the precedent so early that my voice changing an octave, they like, hold on.
Yep, that ain't
He
playing.
ain't playing. My daughter, like the other day, she was moving slow, getting her soccer cleats on, and I was like, hey.
They're tied up right now.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Scramble mode.
But I don't have to I don't have to raise my hand at her because when she was younger, those little pops and those things like that, she's like, okay, dad doesn't play.
And not only that, I think it's the involvement.
Yeah.
We know that you.
All
we
great
show up,
fathers.
you show
All
up.
great fathers.
Yeah. Okay,
And are black men, so let's kill the stereotype. There are great black fathers out here.
Absolutely. Ray brought up, so, I mean, biblically, I mean, the Bible says the Lord chastises those that he loves.
Mhm.
Chastising is correction. To me, if you love your child, you will correct them.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it, the police gonna do it.
I'm about to say, yeah.
Listen,
definitely
the world's gonna do it for you,
Yeah.
and not in a loving way.
I'm about to say, I tell my kids all the time, you lucky I'm doing it because I love you. Because somebody that don't love you, ain't no telling what they would
They don't
do.
care.
Yeah.
They don't care how your feelings
Yeah.
are when they mad and somebody in their feelings and you do
That's
something.
it.
They gonna correct it. We losing young people at a higher rate because the value and the systems that we learned are no longer being injected. So the value of life has diminished because people aren't being brought up in the mindset to care, and they don't see care at home. The only care that they get is from somebody in the street that they think cares about them, but all they doing is using them. But if mom and dad ain't saying sit your behind down and do what you're supposed to do, but old dude on the corner making you feel accepted, then that's who I'm gonna listen to.
Yeah, because your mama at home trying to get her body reupholstered and be a TikTok star.
Body reupholstered.
And dad, 40 years old, playing semi-pro.
I was gonna say, yeah, but
like
you
the
know what
lead
I'm talking
caller.
about, though.
Bro said a poster.
Reupholstered, like a 88 Delta.
I'm sitting here like thinking about that.
But it's true. If you think about it,
BBL is being real.
if you think about it, that's basically what they doing. They get a BBL, get their tummy tucked, and you know you can tell when you see their belly button, it just don't look right. That's because you
Why's your belly's like by your kneecap?
Yeah, you've been altered. You've been altered.
All right, guys, we gotta move on. All right, let's talk about the role of coaches, mentors, and organizations.
Okay.
All right.
Coaches, mentors, organizations.
Well, that's a double-edged sword. I'm on that one.
Okay, well, you
Yeah,
ready to chomp at
I'm on that one. So I mean, y'all know that my dad was football coach, everything.
Absolutely.
Football coach galore around
Absolutely.
here. Couldn't go nowhere without somebody saying, "Oh, you Coach Henderson's son?" So it's a double-edged sword because at the same time he was a mentor to a lot of kids, right? But at the same time, like there was times when I was like, "But what about me?" Because when you're a coach, those are your kids.
Yeah.
And you got to treat them like your kids, whether you want to or not, right? Whether they act right or how you deal with them, they're still your kids at the end of the day because they don't come to you with stuff that they're not gonna come to other people with. And then being that it was in Plaza, there was a lot of kids from like Plaza Apartments, and there was kids that back in the day when kids didn't have their father, that wasn't really even talked about back when we was growing up.
Right.
So there was a lot of kids that didn't have their father. So my dad was their father. To this day, there are grown men that I still see be like, hey, how dad doing? Because he was their dad. So I saw it from both sides. I saw where it was good for all these other kids that needed somebody, but there were times when I was like, but what about me? So, it's a great thing to have a good coach and but I mean, my dad was there for me. It was just being a kid, not realizing stuff. Right, so let me say this first. My dad was there for me. I'm not saying he wasn't. It was just I didn't realize it until I became a dad. I didn't see it.
That he felt like he had a responsibility to the community, which is excellent.
Yep.
But you had to share him along the way, which is, sometimes it's a balancing act of, you want to be there for your kids, but you also want to be there, stand the gap for all those people who don't have.
Right.
So, Coach, what you got?
Listen, and from experience, I feel where you're coming from, but I feel it from the father perspective. And I say that because before my kids were born, I was already ingrained in it. So when my kids were born, it's hard to turn habits off. And this is all honesty, all reality, like the version of me that people see now is not the version that was there when my kids were first born. In all reality, because I was so fixated on being this staple of the community and this great guy that my own son didn't know I existed for a year. He lived in Pennsylvania with his mom, but it was out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And I'm calling all these kids around this local area my son and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, his mom is like, what about him? But because I let personal issues dictate how I responded, I cared more about what was over here and what was making me look like a superstar, and not what was important. So now I'm like, I got it. It's balance.
Yeah.
And the important part of being a coach and a mentor is that you are filling the gaps for kids that don't have fathers, and even some of these kids that don't, even the young ladies that don't have moms. Like, I've mentored young ladies. And you stand in that gap, but you have to have balance. That's the key to being a successful coach and mentor. You are, when you pick up that mantle and say, hey, I'm a coach, by proxy, you become a father figure. By proxy. The issue now, a lot of people pick up the mantle of coach just to say, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
They have no idea of what it really takes other than the social media attention that they get from saying they're a coach.
Yeah.
Look, we getting new uniforms for the kids. But these kids only see you during football season.
At practice.
At practice. The in-between where, and this is one of the things that I love my uncle for, is because it was never like that for him. It was after the season, he still got these kids in the van. He still got them in the truck. He's still teaching them. They got a whole lawn care business now, where he's taking the kids to go cut grass, to raise money for stuff that they need, school supplies, whatever, things like that. So that's what a real coach and a mentor is somebody's like, you know what, season's over, but I'm a stalker as a coach, right? So season's over, and I know kids like to slack off after the season's over. They're like, me, I'm in the hallway like Michael Myers walking by the classroom, just looking in the classroom. They look up, I'm standing right there. Yeah, I don't turn it off, buddy. I don't turn it off. But great things from, like me, I love what I do because not only is it the coaching part, but it's the part about helping young people grow into their purpose. That's why I do what I do. Take the money away, coach my contract. I did it for free for years.
Yeah, me too.
I did it for free. When I came in again, that's why it frustrates me now looking at a lot of these young coaches. It's like their mindset is like war. Like, bro, y'all ain't earned nothing.
Yeah.
I was coaching youth ball for free for 4 years.
Yeah.
I coached middle school ball watching other coaches draw a check, but I'm showing up every day for free. I'm picking kids up. I'm serving lunches. I'm washing. I'm doing all these things. And then when I got my first paycheck, it didn't matter because I was like, I just love doing what I do. And so now that I've grown into, this coach that God has led me to become, the sports thing is 1%. The rest of the 99% is, am I fulfilling the purpose that I was created for, which is helping these young people reach their max level. But here's where the balance come in. I'm a husband and I'm a father. So while I'm doing this, I have to make sure that my kids are secure. My kids feel loved.
Yep.
Because it is. You have that absentee mindset. It's like, no, I'm present.
Yeah.
My son lives in Pennsylvania. You better believe we FaceTiming. A birthday, I'm there.
Yep.
Whatever. But even like for my daughter, like she goes to Woodstock Elementary. Me and the team was just there a couple weeks ago reading to the kids at Woodstock Elementary. I'm in the building.
Yeah.
I do parent pickup.
Yeah.
I'm at PTA event. I'm present.
Yep.
Not just in the lives of the kids that I coach, but my own kids' lives.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that needs to be commended. I want to give a big shout out to your uncle because I know
Mm.
Berkeley Timberwolves, right?
Yeah.
See, thanks to your
Look at that.
I remember we hosted a couple events at the center and he came out to support us, so I really appreciate.
Yeah, we
See,
did.
good people show up for good people, so
Yeah, that's
I really
it.
do appreciate that as well.
I remember them events that we used to have at the center.
We used to some great things. We'll talk about that later. Ramon, what you got? Clubs. I'm sorry. Yeah, coaches, mentors, organizations. You have anything to add on?
I mean, my coaching experience was a little different because every team I ever coached had my son on it.
Okay.
So I didn't have the absentee part of it, but I got to get the part of it. Yeah, they are like my kids. Their parents would come to me and tell me good in school, bad in school, when they had homework assignments they didn't turn in, whatever it was, they would tell me. They knew their kids would listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And because I had a voice in their lives, their parents literally depended on me. When I told them I wasn't coaching anymore, they got upset with me. Like, for real. What you mean? You're not coaching.
I need to back it up.
I feel you.
But I guess from that perspective, mine were basically, like I mentioned earlier, it was more church for me. I quit playing baseball. I quit running track. I quit a lot of stuff. But so it was really realistically the church for me because I knew they were there. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they call me out the blue. What you doing? I feel like they had a camera room or something like that.
Something's going on.
Yeah,
but they
knew I was acting up.
Because they, and here's the thing where, and I say this, teachers, coaches, mentors, anybody that's imparting young people, if you don't have a defined positive relationship with those kids, they're not going to, one, respect you, and two, they're not going to believe in you. So whereas we as coaches feel like, well, the title and you should automatically listen to, no, you got to build that. That is a build responsibility. Respect is built. And so out the gate, yes, and the kids will tell you, like, man, I have Breon. Breon used to always say, he's like, man, he used to say, I hate Coach Ray, but I love Mr. Colston. He used to always say that, right? And I used to be like, what is he talking about? I'm the same person. But then I had to realize, like, that's his perception. Mm-hmm. Because as a coach, I wasn't, in all honesty, there are times when you realize I didn't always get it right. So, God, how do I get it right? Well, you got to learn how to blend those two together. Mm-hmm. Because you're a coach, that doesn't inherently make you just a strict disciplinarian. It makes you a father figure. You got to be able to show love and correction to get them to their level. So that's what it was. And it's like, oh, I get it. Kids really be like, yo, I didn't like playing for you because you was just too hard and you ain't listening.
Yeah, it's just the demands that,
yeah.
And we should have that when we're coaching. So, I mean, I know that that's definitely my coaching style as well. I think anybody who's heard me coach would be like, yeah, when we pulled up, we heard you screaming. I was like, yeah.
and did.
Yeah.
I got tired of losing my voice. I got tired of losing my voice.
We won a lot. I mean, I don't think I ever had a losing season as a coach, but
of course you did.
I didn't. I don't think I've never had a losing season. I swear. I didn't. Even at Indian River, we were winners. So the only thing I want to add to this conversation, and we've got to think sometimes outside of the box when we talk about. We've been talking about athletics a lot, which is valuable in its own way.
Very valuable.
I think when we were in school, we had no advocates in the school system with us who taught us about other things or opportunities that were available to us. So I know when I'm in the classroom, I was the DECA advisor or whatever, and I had a group go all the way to the internationals in Atlanta. And my second or third year as the chairman, I think it was my second. Anyway,
Internationals?
In the internationals.
Y'all went to the internationals
in my second year, yeah. So we were
that was
high achievement at a lower income district. But what I'm saying is, a lot of those things, nobody reached out to. Those teachers didn't reach out to us when we were in school. We weren't viewed as important unless we were outstanding athletically or whatever. I'm like, why didn't they get us in this Model UN or all of these great organizations that are available? So I guess I say all that to say this. If you are an educator, if you're someone who knows about these clubs and organizations, scholarships, whatever, please get involved with these kids and let them know about these opportunities that are available.
And I'll piggyback on that. And one of the people, like, I love coaching sports, but I love coaching the kid. Mm-hmm. That's I'm trying to coach the other 99% of the kid, and that's why I'm freshman sponsor at Tulsa High School. Mm-hmm. So class 27, I'm the sponsor. I'm the co-chair of the Black Student Union at Tulsa High School. I also do Men of Excellence. I'm a co-chair of that as well. So it's not just football and sports with me. That's old Coach Ray. Like me, right. I'm like, I need to make sure these kids reach a maximum level. So, because everybody ain't going to college for sports. Everybody ain't going to college. Yep. Everybody's not going to the pros. It's a very small percentage. So, God positioned me to be able to work with kids to help them figure out what they want to do and help them get there. It may not be. Some people got to realize, like, your kid might not go to college for sports. So what else does he like? What else does she like? Yeah. Let's figure that out so we can get them there. Finding other interests. Like, success has more than one route. And in our community, I think, and I'll be honest, I think there are certain parts of our community that drop the ball because we limit the scope on success. Mm-hmm. and you go to other race communities and other races, and your kids are learning stuff at an early age that could be like, oh, this don't work out. I already know. I can.
You got something else.
I got real estate. I got this. When we just like, oh, he
Better
can dribble the
shoot.
ball. He gonna go to the pros.
So you better shoot that layup.
Oh,
Right.
he can shoot a three. Like that's 1 out of 10,000, buddy.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, I'm about to push the nuke button. I know this can go 100 different ways. All right, so let's talk about what's happening with the youth today. Where is the disconnect? Where are we losing these kids?
Social media.
Okay. Preach.
Social media, 100%. The thing now, what I would say is not just social media. Let me take that back. The problem is that kids today have no idea what it is to have to wait for something.
Ooh.
They get instant everything.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to high school, we have a soda machine in the hallway. Were we allowed to have a cell phone? I remember we were in class. If we were in school, if you had a beeper, you were a drug dealer. You were expelled.
Correct.
They didn't ask you no questions. They didn't talk to you about nothing. You were a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents would have to go to a school council meeting, something like that, whatever it's called.
Right.
And they would have to explain it why you had that pager, and they have to ask if they will let you back in school.
Really?
Really?
Over a pager?
Over a pager.
I hit mine. No lie.
Over a pager.
You had Smart Beat.
And I'm just
Remember
saying,
Smart Beat? Remember
Smart
Smart Beat was $1.99 a month?
yeah, so now you have these kids that have cell phones that they can Google anything they want to know. They can sit in class and watch any TV show they want to watch. And they can send a message out talking about somebody and everybody in school get it in 2 seconds. Right?
Yeah.
So it's they get a bunch of information that they don't know if it's valid or not. They are being influenced because when you went to school and we talked about this the other day, somebody was bullying you, you saw them for 1 period. You didn't see them on the bus, you didn't see them no more, you go home, you hadn't seen them no more. Somebody bullying you in school, they bullying you in school, they bullying you on TikTok, they bullying you on Instagram, they bullying you on Facebook, X, not Twitter anymore. Anything they can bully you on. So everywhere you go, you just constantly surrounded by it. And it's with everything that they do. So if they start getting influenced by something negative, that negative's all around them. If it's positive, it's all around them. But they still get whatever they want too daggone fast. They don't have any sense of wait. Like I say, Temu is for people my age because I don't mind waiting 2 weeks to get delivered.
Right.
I know that's right.
Right? I don't need Amazon Prime all the time.
I love Amazon Prime.
I love Amazon Prime too, but
We love Amazon.
the same.
We love Amazon.
The same
I ordered from
product.
y'all last week.
The same product.
Sponsor opportunity.
Temu or
Exactly.
Temu, wait long.
Hey, we can. Temu and Amazon can sponsor.
Yeah.
So,
Please do.
I'm not a hater. Kmart.
Kmart, and they still around.
Sears.
I don't know.
Sears.
Sears and Roebuck.
And Sears ain't even open no more.
Sears
They
definitely
can still
open.
sponsor
Yeah.
Radio Shack.
Arrows Video.
This brother right here.
So I'll say this, and the disconnect goes back to what I said earlier, is I lean on Ephesians 6:9. And I've been talking about this God has really put that on my heart the last couple weeks. We provoked this generation to anger. Ephesians 6:4, starts off with, do not provoke your children to anger. They've been provoked to anger because they have been raised by apathetic parents, a society that does not believe in them at all, and the microwave mentality points to that, because if you believed in them, then you make them wait. You've removed consequences, which are learning curves, to help them in the future. A lot of these kids feel left, like they trying to figure this stuff out by themselves. And then you factor in COVID, where half of them was raising themselves for 2 years in a house while their parents was at work because they couldn't go to school. They angry.
Right.
These kids are angry. Like, we can sit here and say, well, we can try to die. These kids are angry. They don't understand the value of life, emotional. When you angry, you're not trying to hear reasoning, whether it's from authority or not. So a lot of these kids are operating in anger just from the simple fact that you work to school, kid coming to school, he just got attitude. People are jumping, oh, why he acting like that? Well, you don't know that he got cussed out before he got on the bus because he left a spoon in the sink.
That's it.
Or because he didn't do something for his mother's other kids when he was trying to get ready for school. So, yeah, I come to school, I'm angry. I didn't eat, but I made sure my siblings ate, and my mom didn't get home till late, or my dad ain't been home. So these kids are angry. Think about like the inflation of single parent homes. You got moms and dads chasing people that don't want them, and the kid meanwhile like. I mean, I had a student come in my room straight up this past year. Thank God she graduated early. And she was like, she's in tears. And she's just like, my mom loves my dad more than she loves me. Now, I say that in the sense of like, they're not together. She's like, but he's shown her he didn't want her, but she's still chasing him. And I just want my mom to love me. This is a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
They still kids. Yes, they might do stuff that we were like, oh, that's too grown for us when we were kids. But they still kids. So they're angry. That's the disconnect.
Okay.
Is the people who were supposed to lead them to the promised land ain't do their job.
Okay. I agree. Mom, what you got?
I'm supposed to follow that.
Very carefully.
Very carefully, right? Like, for real. Nah, I mean, y'all hit it. I mean, the social media thing is huge. Because, I mean, let's just be honest. Social media is basically raising our kids. They're trying to tell us, tell our kids who they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to look like, what they're supposed to wear, who they're supposed to follow, who they're supposed to love. All of it is on Facebook. It's on Instagram. It's there, and they're constantly look at them. It's in their hands, 24 hours a day. They sleep with it. They're always engulfed in it, and it is raising our kids, not us. And so, you're telling your daughter she's beautiful. Social media's telling she's not, because she'll like Beyonce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden she got some little dirty boy telling her she's beautiful, and because she want to hear it so bad, she doing stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? And all of that's coming full circle because literally social media is brainwashing our kids.
It's brainwashing the parents.
That too.
You looking for your parent to tell you you're beautiful, but then you see your mom, like you said earlier, she going in the back to get her body repulsive. My mom don't even know how to feel beautiful, so why would I believe you when you tell me I'm beautiful?
Yeah, there you go.
These brothers getting deep.
I'm just being real.
It's the truth.
Absolutely true.
My dad tells me I'm beautiful. You know what I'm saying? As a father to a daughter. But and he's married to her mom. But I see him on Instagram looking at these certain videos, certain pictures of women all the time that don't look nothing like my mom.
Yeah.
You feel me? So,
Yeah.
so my mom don't feel beautiful. Why would I feel beautiful? As a young man, I don't feel handsome. I don't feel strong because I've never heard my mother tell me that I'm a handsome young man. I'm a strong man. All I've heard my whole life is you look like your daddy.
Yeah, you remind me
And
so much
it's in disdain.
of your worthless daddy.
Yeah,
So
because that was the worst point in her life that she made a decision to sleep with this man and have this kid. So every time she see her son, all she sees is a reminder of the pain and the man that didn't want her.
Yeah,
I agree.
So again, it goes back to they are angry.
Paying the price for her bad decision, for their bad decision.
we could
We
definitely
can dig that deeper. That's another episode.
That's definitely a show.
Anger is definitely yeah. So what I want to do, I want to first, and hey, I must be getting old because I'm gonna give the kids their flowers first. The pros with this generation is they have a lack of fear. Okay, I think that when we grew up, we know, at least in the city we grew up in, once you see the police, you knew our party was over. I mean, there's gonna be no arguing. There's gonna be no unless you want your head bust. And even as an adult, it's like conditioning. Like once you see them jokers coming, you be like, all right, put my head down. I'm gonna give you what. Because they would bust you in the head, and if they make a mistake and beat you too much, it's too late. You gotta know your place. So, but I will give the kids today. They have a lack of fear. They have so much information available, which is both good and bad. I mean, information is good depending on how you use it. If you look up some bad or there's things that kids should not know. I mean, let's just be honest. There are things that kids should not see, but it's available. The third thing I'll say about kids today is they're into activism. They have some type of cause. I'm not gonna say the cause is always right, but a lot of times I think that they are in the mode of equity for people. So I do appreciate that.
I
with
see
the
it as
kids
a great
today.
deal in the school.
Absolutely. The cons, and I think we talked about this a little bit early before we started taping, was we're at like an all-time high for depression, anxiety, kids on medication for these things. We talked about the social media influence, the lack of respect for authority, and again, I think Cody talked about this, like the work ethic. You know, a lot of times when you give a simple assignment, people want to, copy and paste. Like, you can't have an original thought. Just try. This is, and the class that I'm involved in, it's not that deep. Just think about the question. Give me a knowledgeable or your vantage point, and we can move on. But I think those are the problems facing the kids today. So we're going to wrap with this final question.
Okay.
We are the elders now.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to make change? And I know this could
go a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the need is so great, but we're going to just start the conversation here and see what we can come away with or impart to our listeners with. What can we do? What steps can we take to start solving the problem with? We see us losing our kids to gun violence. We're heavily involved in the jail system, drugs, the mental health issues, the job opportunities. What can we do to curb some of those situations? Ramon, you got something?
I think Ray hit it on the head. He said it several times during this conversation. Be present. I mean, be available. Let kids, even if they're not your kids, know that you are available and that they can speak to you. Because we had that conversation a little while ago about how, we grew up, kids were supposed to be seen and not heard. And so, and we knew we better not ask no questions, we better not talk back, we better not do any of those things because there were dire consequences if we did.
He said it right, dire.
And so, and you know what I'm saying? And so sometimes I believe we still have that in us because that's how we were raised. But your kids should fear you to some degree, but not be so fearful of you that they cannot talk to you.
Right.
They feel like they cannot approach you.
Balance.
Absolutely.
That if I say this to my dad, he'll take my head clean off. If I ask him a question about this, he's going to judge me. I used to tell my son for real, I said, tell him a little crazy, but I said, you want to talk about sex or whatever? I'm probably the best person you ask. Because you're talking to little kids that learn it online. You know what I'm saying? What they think it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to be about, what it's supposed to look like and all of that. But be there to be a truth teller. Don't be judgmental with it, but be a truth teller. Don't be afraid to tell your kids too. Nah, bro, that's wrong. That's completely incorrect. I don't care who said it. You know what I'm saying? That is not correct. And this is why. Because sometimes that's the why part. We leave out.
We leave out the why.
We leave out the why. We just say because I said so. And the why sometimes does matter. Because if it doesn't make sense to them, why would they listen to it?
That's it.
And so that's my 2 cents. Next.
All right. Colt, what you got?
This is a big one, man.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I will say this. I mean, this might be a little bit off what you asked me, but I'm just going to answer it like this.
Okay.
I would say, there was a time not too long ago, and I'm just going to share this, where I was going through some stuff with my ex-wife. She was trying to do stuff with my kids. It just wasn't right? And luckily, I was able to fall back on my Masonic family. Now, you guys know I'm a Mason. Not everybody knows I'm a Mason, but there's some youth groups that actually I was able to get my kids involved with that had exactly what you were saying, Ramon, had other adults active. Because, sometimes what happens is your kids don't want to come to you, right? That your kids will say something to somebody else that they're more comfortable with, a coach, or someone that shows that they're active in their life. So through this, I was able to have some other people that were actually other elders that showed my kids that they mattered to them as well as me, because what their mother was trying to, and I'm just gonna put it out there, she was trying to tell them that nobody here cared about them, that only she cared about them, that only she was, and that it was a big factor to have others. So for them to see that other people cared about them and showed them that they were wanted. That's something that I think as an elder that we need to do more of. It's more of letting people outside of your family know that you're willing to deal with them, because that doesn't happen anymore. I tell the story 100 times. My parents went on a cruise. We had some next door neighbors that we knew them but didn't really know them, right? I had some people come over to the crib. I thought I was good. My parents pulled up in the driveway. Here comes this man and his wife came out the house. Hey, Mr. Henderson, how y'all doing? I'm like, what are they talking to them for? They talking for a minute? Went over and talked to them, came out, get in the house. So they said, and you know what I'm saying, some people that, now, like I said, I knew them, but we didn't know them, but they took enough time to realize that I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. And they came over there and told my parents. It goes back to what you say. People are scared to tell other people about their kids because they don't want to hear it.
Right. That's true.
You're so quick to defend your kid instead of trying to save your kid.
Amen.
So what I would like to do is be just more, I want to be more active with people outside of my home, outside of my personal set of friends, and let them know that there are people out here that actually care about community, because community is gone. Community is gone. People would rather, you got too many people want to live their life online. People rather get a like online than walk outside and have somebody tell them they look nice. You tell a girl on the street, hey, you look nice in that. Why you talking to me like that? The dude can get online and say, hey, I'm trying to fly you out because you look good in that dress. And she eating it up.
Yeah.
It's about community. There's no sense of community no more.
I agree.
So that's what I would like to try to do as an elder, is try to help bring back a sense of community where people feel comfortable talking to their neighbors and knowing that their neighbors give a damn about what's going on in your house, because people are either you're scared you're going to get sued, somebody going to say something to you crazy, you're worried about their kid coming over breaking your windows. So I wish somebody would have said something to me, my next door neighbor. Now they woke up the next day, their window was broken, because my dad would have said I did it regardless and probably had me outside taking the car apart, putting the window in, even if I did it or not.
Right.
No, that's real.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say as an elder. I would like to do is try to bring back that community, sense of community.
That's big.
And I'm gonna echo that as well. What I'm gonna say first is I still want to give a big kudos to all the people out there. We talked about Uncle Glenn. We talked about you, Coach Ray. All three of us are involved. But there's so many other people who are involved in our communities. It's just, I think what we need to do, and we need to keep the discussion going, is we need to create some type of unity with these other black fathers and the ladies and the moms as well. We need to become a network that can go into the communities and really establish some real type of change where we can lean on each other and not be afraid to go out and say, hey, we're willing to sacrifice our time and our efforts to make our communities better. I'm gonna leave Coach Ray with the last words on the topic. So I usually take the last word, but yeah.
So you let me do it?
Yeah.
Wow, you've grown. In such a short amount of time.
I am such a selfish person.
Man, that's growth right there.
Yes. Somebody's been praying for me.
I do all the time. No, in all honesty, we have to create, everything that you just said is spot on, and we have to be willing to be a safe space for kids. I think information hits ears, and it's crazy because kids tell adults things, and these adults weaponize it against kids. We got to be able to put these kids in a position to realize, if you come tell me something, I'm going to tell your parent, not because I'm just being that guy, but it's going to help you.
Yeah.
The community aspect, I've always been a huge fan of Huey Newton. Always been a huge fan of Huey Newton and the Black Panther Party, and it was even more intriguing when I found out he was a member of Phi Beta Sigma. So just put that out there. But that community aspect that they once ingrained in our community, and not just in the black community, but just people in general. It's we got to do this thing together. We trying to save kids. We're trying to save the next generation. The next generation, and I've told kids, you're a chosen generation. They're coming to realizations spiritual realizations and all these things at higher numbers than ever in the teenage demographic. We got to be there to receive them. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier, the promised land ain't for us. It's for us to prepare for them to walk into. We're not going. We're old. We old. Contrary to we old.
We had our promise.
We had our prime and stuff like that. So we're preparing the promised land for them. And as a collective, we should be willing to say, what does that take? You say, like you say, come to a community, building community, bonding, being able to go to another parent and be like, look, your kids did this, this, and this. Maybe we all need to sit down and talk to them. Making these kids feel safe. The old school thing of when you two kids had beefs, the parents would talk.
I was just about to bring that. Why is it that schools, when your kid has a conflict, well, you can't meet the other parent, y'all. We can't tell you who the kid is. You can't know nothing.
Well,
about
because
it.
we don't know, unfortunately, the reaction of the parents.
Well, no, but that's what I'm just saying. It just goes back to what you were saying about.
So I'm glad you
getting
brought up
together.
the mediation thing. So one of the things that I was blessed to be able to do was I created a program at Tallwood based in conflict mediation. It's like a 5-step program. Since we've had that happen with the groups that were beefing, we've had 0 altercations from these groups. So, yeah, you know, in a way,
you created that program because my daughter had to go through that with somebody.
yeah, I know.
So that I didn't know
That's
that.
amazing.
So,
Yeah, that was my
so
program.
look, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That's right. They came to me.
Seriously,
The
seriously.
assistant principal came to me and was like,
Yeah,
you gotta do something.
because I reached out to them. I was like, somebody's got to do something.
Yeah,
so
that was-
I appreciate
that
that.
was the
man.
program they
The
greenlit
full-
at Tallwood.
Full circle.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Assistant principal came to me. Shout out to Mr. Serrani because
Yep, that's
dude
good.
believes in me like tenfold. He came to me and was like,
Big
"Look,
shout out to you,
Yeah,
sir.
that
yeah.
dude came to me and was like, I know what you do in the neighborhoods. We need to figure something out in here." I said, "Give me 2 days." And
what's
I
up,
sat
man.
there. I drew it up.
I'm sorry.
No, but
I'm gonna cut you off just for 1 second. Do you see what happens when you give a black man an opportunity?
no, that's
Has made miracles happen
Yeah, it sure is.
in 2
because
days,
it
and we
was
have
serious.
proof that
It
your
was,
child.
it was serious.
Is that
What was
amazing?
going on,
Give
man.
a brother a chance to see what happens. I'm sorry.
no. You're good. You're good. So
Continue.
I told him to give me 2 days, and
2
then I
days.
did it up and sent it to him. I was like, "This is a program," and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you a team." He's like, "It's your team. You run it." First, and it's like 8 kids. So they split time apart. We was working with them individually, then we brought them together. And it's like, yo, why y'all really mad at each other? Nobody had an answer.
Yeah.
Nobody had a reason why they was beefing. And so it's like, yo, look, you ain't gotta like each other. Just go your way. Go your way. And she has had no interaction with any of them since that conversation.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, I got stuff I gotta do. There's another young man that I had in the program. He goes to church with me now every Sunday. Every Sunday, he called Coach. I'll be at Tallwood waiting on you, and I pull up, pick him up,
Pick him up,
pick
there
up
you
for church.
go.
He got baptized last week.
Okay.
So it's not about
Real changes in.
I'm about to say,
and that,
there it is.
it's about enacting real change. That's why I say it's the in between time. People have, and I don't want to. No, I'm gonna go off on this one because this is frustrating to me. People have, all in the world, they have a million freaking stop the violence cookouts and all this stuff. But what are you doing in the in between time?
Oh man.
A hot dog and a bag of popcorn ain't doing diddly for these kids for 5 days a week.
I gotta piggyback real quick, just because I've been involved with so many organizations who do backpack drives or these band-aids that they try to put on bullet holes. That's not gonna, it's a 1-day thing, and they think that everybody's supposed to be good off of that. No, this needs to be real change,
Yeah.
sustainable stuff that people can benefit from. I do hate those little
I hate 'em.
1-day things. No, they're not interested in true change. They're
Interested in a social media plug and the
It's a
news
post.
camera coming up. It makes them look, oh, congrats, appreciate you doing that for the kids in the community. I could have bought 35 hot dogs and just handed them out there like that. The kid that I told you got baptized last week, after we had that conversation through that conflict mediation program, I said, all right, I'm going to keep my eyes on you. He didn't believe me. I got a copy of his schedule. And I would just pop up and just be like, oh, he in here? Okay, cool. I see him in the hallway walking slow. Hey, bell rang, let's go. So it's about showing them that they matter.
Yeah.
Beyond just saying, you know what, y'all need to put the guns down. No, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. If I say put the guns down, but I ain't giving you nothing to look forward to, what you think gonna happen? I'm gonna pick it back up.
Yeah.
You remove and City of Norfolk that we used to work for, who always trying to save money and cut corners, and I said, I know my way, work for the CSB, whatever. It is what it is. You cut programming that was saving kids. You cut the After the Bell program. You cut rec centers for a couple years. You did all these things. You cut out youth sports that was saving kids' lives. I'm a product of those programs. you cut it so you can save money, and then the murder rate is going up. And I know, Mayor Alexander, you got a funeral home, so you're making money off of it. So, but I'm just gonna keep it all the way 100. You want to save these lives? Give these kids something to do besides walk the street at night and wonder what they supposed to be doing.
And I'm gonna, one last point for me. I think that sometimes we have to save ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't rely on anybody else, not the city, not the school system, not politicians. Sometimes we got to get together and rescue our own communities. You drowning, it might take them too long to get to us.
Right.
So we might have to just go ahead. So we want to keep this conversation going. We want to first of all thank Coach Ray here, who is, as you can tell, very passionate about all of the subject matter that we had to talk about. We would love to hear your dialogue and your thoughts, and we want to keep this conversation going so that we can reach out, really be an impact in all the communities in the 7 cities. Again, thanks to my boy Coke. You want to let the people know how you're feeling?
I feel like we had a great discussion today.
I do
to be honest
too.
with you. I think that this is going to be a very impactful episode, and I'd like to thank Ray again for coming, man. Appreciate it.
Our very first
Yep.
guest host.
See
So
that,
we wanna- that's a little bit of love.
Won't be our last.
It won't be absolutely. We have some other topics I want to knock them in the head with. But Ramon, what you got?
And this was a great conversation, and just reminds us. I mean, it does take a village to raise a child, and the village is gone right now, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
And we need to figure out how to get it back. 'Cause like you said, we dying out here, literally, not just figuratively, literally. And so, I mean, hopefully we can be that change.
I agree. I think that a lot of other cultures have learned from the wisdom of their elders that needs to be respected. We got to bring that back. So for the Woods Finest podcast, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please reach out to us with any questions, comments, concerns, and we look forward to seeing you on our very next episode.
All right.
Deuces.